Hello, this is Lauren at Journey to Calm. So today I'm going to be talking about hydration. It is Nutrition and Hydration Week 2022. So I thought, although usually I'm focusing more on the mindfulness stuff, I've also studied physiology, and so I am going to talk a little bit about the science behind hydration, and hopefully you'll find that interesting. I also want to talk about hydration and its effect on COVID patients, um, more specifically long COVID and POTS patients, which I will go into more detail about a bit later on. So I'm going to add time points into this video in the description so you can skip to whichever bits interest you along the way. So I came outside to do this video today because it was such a lovely sunny day, and then as soon as I left the house the sun has gone behind the clouds. I'm hoping it'll be back in a minute because it's a bit chilly. So firstly I'm going to go into the science behind hydration. Some of you might know some of this already. So firstly I'm going to explain a little bit about the composition of the human body. The human brain is 95% water, and our blood is made, it's probably not quite so surprising, but blood is 83% water, our lungs 90% water, and our bones 22% water. So actually surprised me about the bones as well, that it's 22% water, because you kind of think of bones as being these tough, strong, hard things, but I don't really think of it normally as having moisture in. So that was surprising for me. But having said all that, it kind of helps you realise more why we need that water, because if we don't stay hydrated, all of those organs are not getting enough. They're not getting enough water to keep them working at their optimum. So we not only need to think about how much we're drinking, but also how we lose water as well. So we urinate, and that is between a pint and a gallon of water a day comes out through our urine. Also our breath. So when you're breathing, if you, for example, breathe up against a window, you will see droplets of water because you've got water coming out of your breath. Now we don't get rid of a lot of water this way, but it certainly adds to it. If you're dehydrated anyway and you're breathing out this moisture, extra moisture that is coming out of your body, so you will dehydrate even more. Now, sweating, this is another one. Typically we lose under a litre of water each day. However, this can increase dramatically if you've got high temperature or working out, exercise. So exercise will make you sweat and you will lose all of that moisture. So another thing to add here is if you have some hormone sweating going on, you will possibly notice that you lose. I'm about to lose my Harry Potter bag. Bear with me. Sorry, I should have tied it on. It's windier than I expected. So yeah, sometimes with hormones you can suffer the sweats, whether it be the menopause or just generally time of the month. So in particular, night sweats. It's interested me to know. I wish I could have measured how much I've lost over the years from night sweats, and I know that sounds disgusting, but it is what it is. So it's part of the human body. I do have some hormone issues, so occasionally you get those nights where you just wake up saturated, and yeah, sometimes I think, wow, how much water have I lost then? But then you, rather than just thinking that, you need to think, I've got to actually replace that water, and then drink a load of water after that to replenish your body. So yeah, the other thing would be digestion. which we don't typically lose a lot through digestion. But if you do have, say, diarrhea and you're vomiting, for example, you will obviously get dehydrated then. If you've got a sick bug and you keep but can't keep water down, you're going to get dehydrated. And actually, on this topic, I will say I had the flu back in, when I was about 21, and because I had the flu and I was so dehydrated, literally both ends, horrendous, couldn't keep even water down, and I nearly went to hospital. I was on the phone with the doctor. I couldn't even hold the phone. I was so weak, and so I had it next to my ear, and I remember them saying that I should go in to hospital, but at the time I was living with my pregnant sister. Didn't want to give her this hideous bug that I had, and didn't really have anyone else to take me. It just didn't feel like an option. Now, my advice would be, if you're in that same situation and you cannot get there any other way, so a taxi driver wouldn't have taken me. I was throwing up and pooing everywhere. Like, literally, it was just constantly coming out of both ends. So if you need an ambulance, you need an ambulance. Doesn't matter if you're young and you think you're wasting their time. That is what they're there for. So if you need help, please don't be afraid to ask for it, because I feel like if I had have got the medical help at that point, I may not have ended up with a lot of the medical conditions that I have now, because I was so dehydrated. It was just awful. So I have gone off on a tangent there, but I seriously recommend making sure that you get the medical care you need if you are in that situation. So I'm just going to check my notes to make sure that I'm covering everything that I wanted to cover today. Right, okay, I was going to talk about how much water we actually need to drink. So it is around 2 litres. It is more for men. So you quite often hear people say 8 glasses of water, but it's around 2 litres. So which is more than 8 cups. It depends what part of the world you live in, but yeah, just make sure you're having that 2 litres of water, or even 3 for men, just so that you get plenty. If you do exercise and you're sweating, you will need more water. Just make sure you rehydrate yourself. Sometimes I don't think we notice we're thirsty until, we're really thirsty. And I think probably we're so busy in life, you just don't notice. You're distracted by things, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, I'm really thirsty. Just try and be mindful, and just be aware of when that thirst is creeping up. And we've all done it when occasionally we've thought, oh, I need a drink, but I'm comfy. Just get up and get that drink. Now, I need to tell myself that as well, because occasionally, if I'm tired, then, because I do suffer from fatigue, so if I'm tired, the last thing you want to do is get up and get water, but actually that water will help you feel more energised. So it's worth just getting up and getting that water. So I want to talk a little bit about what happens when we are actually dehydrated. So our body will function less efficiently. Now, there's a system in our body called the lymphatic system. Now, this is the system that distributes water all around the body. So when you are dehydrated and it's got a little bit of water and you've got all these organs, what it does is it sends that water to the most vital organs. So your heart's going to get it, maybe your lungs, those places that is really essential for survival. So then the less important or less vital organs do not get what they need. Now, that can result in headaches, dizziness, fatigue, lack of focus, and even fainting. If you are really dehydrated, you might even pass out. So yeah, that is a lot of the side effects of dehydration. So I wanted to talk also about the benefits of being properly hydrated. So basically, when you drink enough, the cells in your body are provided with oxygen, and that oxygen can be carried around the body efficiently. If we're dehydrated, it just can't travel around the body so well. It needs that water to push it through, all that oxygen through your body. So that is one of the things that happens, and that oxygen being carried through your body goes from everything from your heart to your skin. And yeah, so if you're well hydrated, your skin will be better. You'll probably even notice it if you have not been drinking enough and then you go to drinking plenty. You might notice a big difference in your skin. Yeah, so at the moment I am in the middle of the park, and I've just seen one of my friends go past, which is probably wondering why I'm talking to myself on here. So next, I wanted to talk about how to encourage yourself or others to drink more. So you may be trying to encourage your children to drink more, or it might be for yourself. So water-rich foods. That is, if someone doesn't like drinking, which can happen, I've never been a fan of drinking. Just find it boring. It always felt like a waste of time. And it's not a waste of time because we need water. But some people just don't like drinking. And one of the best ways, if you're not going to drink, is water-rich foods. So things like watermelon, cucumber, strawberries, those sorts of things, which are full of water. So yeah, that is one of the things. Not on its own, but that is something that can help. Also, you can get water drinking apps these days. If you've got a food app, sometimes they will have a log on it, how much have you drunk today. That can really encourage you. And something also that I've been doing is I bought myself a water bottle which has got times on it. So each hour it's got sort of a little dash on the side, and so I know by the end of that hour I need to have got down to that line. So that personally I find helpful. I'm quite a visual person, so for me I can actually see, yep, okay, I'm an hour behind, guzzle guzzle. So that helps me a lot. So one of the reasons, because it is nutrition and hydration week, I could have done about nutrition as well, but for me hydration has been a massive thing this week, and it made me want to do this video and share some information which I feel is really important. So I talked a little bit about, probably too much detail, about me having the flu when I was 21. Now after I had the flu, I got really poorly, and I was always tired. I was a lot of the dehydration symptoms, headaches, weak, just exercise intolerant. Just I couldn't do anything. Heart rate just felt like my heart was beating hard and fast, and just generally felt really quite unwell, to the point where I couldn't even get up the stairs without. I remember at one point lifting my own legs one at a time up the stairs. It was a really horrendous time actually, and I went for about 10 years before I managed to get diagnosed with something called POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Basically, when you stand up, a regular person, your blood vessels, when we stand up, they narrow so that your blood doesn't go whoosh with gravity. Now in POTS, this doesn't work the same. They don't close like they should. So the blood, this is really a very basic explanation. There is a lot more to it than this, but basically your blood goes from your brain down and pulls in your legs, so which makes you faint or feel faint, and symptoms that affect your brain and how you're thinking. And it's triggered by the autonomic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system that, oh sorry, I moved my camera. It's the part of the nervous system that deals with everything that's happening automatically. So things like temperature control, your body just does it. It's automatic. So people with POTS, their temperature control can be poor because the autonomic nervous system is basically defective. It's not working properly. And I had, over the years, I'd got this under more of a control. I'm very deconditioned from where I had the really bad spell and other health issues as well. So it has been a bit of a roller coaster. I do ride my mobility scooter now because I can't really do a lot. But that said, I had my POTS under control. So my fatigue had been a lot better, and I was managing my day to day, which is not probably very energetic for most people, but it was at a happy level for me, and I was swimming along nicely. So anyway, fast forward to January this year, and I got COVID. So COVID in itself, it could have been worse. I'm very grateful that I didn't end up in hospital, and I'm grateful that I'm still alive. I'm still here because I am immunosuppressed, and I was worried that if I did get it, it could be curtains for me. So I'm still here. However, a couple of weeks after I started suffering from near blackouts, it was so everything would go black, and then I'd come back, but I was sort of aware of those symptoms being POTS symptoms. I didn't actually used to get to the point generally where I would black out like that, so it's a bit scary. And I realised then that okay, this could be long COVID POTS, because previously when I got POTS, it was following this severe viral infection. So I thought there's a chance really that it's exacerbated that. And then after about a week, it improved a bit. I'd had a little bit of a cold at the same time as those blackouts, so I wasn't 100% certain it was that. And then fast forward a couple of weeks, and it started happening again. At which point, I did also again have a little bit of a cold, but I don't know whether it's because my body was working harder because it's fighting off this other viral infection. I don't know, but either way, I then thought, okay, this seems very likely to me that it's a POTS flare-up. And I firstly wanted to spread knowledge about that, because I think a lot of people with long COVID have no idea what's going on with their bodies. They just feel like utter poo and don't understand why. So that is partly why I wanted to raise awareness of that, because a lot of people are being diagnosed with POTS post-COVID, but a lot of people have never heard of it. So this is partly why I'm doing this video today. I would recommend, if you're looking into this, that you take your blood pressure sitting or laying down, sitting down, and then standing up, and then a few minutes after standing up, and then 10 minutes after standing up, and just see if there's a pattern there, and if your blood pressure is fluctuating, because that can be a sign if your blood pressure drops when you stand up. So that is something to look out for. The sun's come out, yay! Oh, it's warm now, that's nice. Anyway, so one of the really simple things you can do is drink more water, which is why I'm talking about this today, because last week I started to get these blackouts again, and so I started to think, okay, well, what did I do when I was really suffering from POTS before? What was the advice I got? And the advice is keep hydrated. If you've got low blood pressure, keeping hydrated will help bring that back up. Another thing is to avoid caffeine and alcohol, which I know some people might not be very happy about that one. Personally, I can't stand coffee or tea, and I'm teetotal, so it's fine for me, but I know some people might struggle with that one. What is the other thing I was going to say? More salt. So, disclaimer here, please seek medical advice before you do this, because some people, whether it be high blood pressure, various other conditions, it can be dangerous if you increase your salt intake. So please seek a doctor. This is not my medical advice. This is me telling you what I've done and what can be advised to POTS patients, but it should be done under supervision. So salt brings blood pressure up. I love salt. So it's really weird. I never used to be that fussed about salt, but since I'd had the low blood pressure and POTS, I crave salt. And yeah, most people, when you go out for a meal or something, they'll put a little bit of salt on. Better not have too much. And I'm there going, oh yeah, more salt, please, more salt. So yeah, that's I love it. And I can tell as well sometimes when my blood pressure is low. If I haven't always noticed, sometimes I can tell when I'm craving salt. So that is something else to look out for and to try. You can have some more salt. So my message to all of you is drink plenty, look after yourselves. I hope you found this useful. I do have a mindful eating challenge that you can get at the link below, which covers more your attitude with food rather than the nutrition side specifically. But yeah, my mindful eating challenge is free and available, and I do have some other courses which I will link to down below as well. Have a good day. This is Lauren, Journey to Calm, and I will see you soon.